always I've been making up songs. I'm 51 years old. I started making up songs when I was 20 years old. And from the first time I made one up to the last time, the whole time I've been trying to get better at it, you know. And nobody even knows what that means, you know. But I've always wanted to from the very beginning. And I remember the first time it ever occurred to me that this could be a job that you could do. I had made up 3 songs, and my friends told me that I should play them somewhere else. And there was these open mics. I don't know if you've ever been to one of those. Anybody that wants can go sing. You just sign up. And this one in particular, you had to sing your own songs. So I thought that would be easier for me because I only knew the 3 I made up. So I went down to the bar and I. If you don't enjoy the music, you can just groove out on my light show. Anyway, to make a short story long, there's a point to what I'm saying though. This, I get in there and there's a clipboard you're supposed to sign up, and the woman who hands me the clipboard says, "Don't forget you have to sing your own songs." So I sign my name in the clipboard, and I remember the name Aaron Allen being above my name, thinking, I'll remember that name. When they get him up there, I know I'm next, right? So I'm sitting there waiting, and they call his name, and he gets up there and does a Willie Nelson song. And I thought, nah, you know, no, this isn't. I went over back to the lady, and I said, hey, you said we had to do our own songs. And she said, yeah. And then I said, well, that's a Willie Nelson song. And then she said, well, Willie Nelson sings it, but Aaron Allen wrote it. And you know, right, that's I know, see, that's the same thing I was thinking was, can I be further down the list? I've never sung before, you know. And she said I had to sing when it was my turn. So the whole time I was singing, I was thinking about Aaron Allen and wondering what he did all day. Probably nothing, you know, except for sing songs. And so I thought, is that a job, you know? So then when I got done, I went up to him. Sorry to go on, so there's a point, I guess. I go up to him and I said I wanted to be like him. And he said, I thought you just went. And I said, yeah, but I want to have it be my job. And that's when he said, well, you got to get better at it. And ever since then, I've been trying. And I remember asking him how, and he said he didn't know. And I said, well, does anybody know? And he said one time in Nashville, he heard this big old fat guy by a pool leaning back, and he said that there was only one way you could always be getting better at making up songs. He said if you keep your life in a situation where you can pack up everything that you own and be moved out of wherever you are inside of 15 minutes. And more importantly, if you keep your life in a situation where you're forced to execute that maneuver every once in a while for some crazy reason, you may never get your life on track, he said, but you'll always be getting better at making up songs. I don't know if that's true, but I bought into it. It takes me a lot of discipline to keep my life as messed up as I keep it. But I care. I'll send this song out to Aaron Allen, whatever town he's 15 minutes from being out of tonight. This is one of the great things about getting to sing, is getting to come to festivals like this. Oh, life too short to worry. They say life too long to wait. But it's too short not to love everybody. Life too long to hate. I meet a lot of men that haggle and finagle all the time. They're trying to save a nickel, maybe big dime. I say not me, Lord no siree. I ain't got no time. Oh, Miss Virgie, she tended bar at a shack out in them hills. They never paid her no money, boy, but it sure paid all of her bills. She must have been 80 years old. Her heart was warm and her beer was cold. She gave away more than she ever sold, and she'd be smiling all the time. I used to sing off in the corner of every Friday night. Be a loud crowd of cowboys, bikers and ballroom fights. Well, they be drinking beer and they be carrying on, and not a one of them would listen to one of my songs. But that old Miss Virgie, she be singing along. She said she knew them all by heart. And then one night, after closing the place, she poured me a free beer. She said, come over here and sit down, and that's when she told me what I needed to hear. She said, life ain't that easy getting through. Everybody gonna try to make it tough on you, but I will tell you right now, if you love what you do, nobody's ever gonna get you down. That's when she said life was too short to worry about it, the life was too long to wait. Well, if it's too short not to love everybody, not too long to hate. I need a lot of men to haggle and finagle all the time. They try to save a nickel, maybe make it die. Not me, boy, no siree. I said I ain't got no time. Well, big it down, I'm right. I ain't seen old Virgie, I guess it's probably been 15 years. Above around this country, I sing my songs for tips and beers. And now the nights are long and the driving is tough. The hotels are weird and the pay sucks, but I can't dig what I do enough. Lord, they never ever get me down. I'm always singing life is too short to worry, life too long to wait. Too short not to love everybody, a life too long to hate. I meet a lot of men haggle and finagle all the time, trying to save a nickel, maybe big it down. Not me, oh no siree, no, I ain't got no time. Not me.